Hey buddy, and welcome to part 2 of our little adventure, like our Penelope clone. So we're going to be creating some other levels. So we have these little doors that lead to other areas where we unlock stuff. Now this part I said would kind of delve into the coding, but part of that coding deals with actually collecting these spheres, or these like these energy orbs that produce like electricity, and then they go through these wires to wherever they're needed. So we're going to need to collect these and then have these doors open basically when we've collected enough orbs. So we collect all the orbs and then we choose a location where we want to go, so they'll all be unlocked, and then we have to actually go to that level or area, collect more orbs, fight some monsters or bad guys, and then move on to the next area. So very simple: collect, fight, achieve the objective. So what we have so far, so I'm going to actually go through some coding, but we're actually going to also mess with sculptures, and we're also going to mess around with blenders. So with sculptures, we're actually going to create the terrain, so the flat terrain. So yes, we can actually mess around with the terrain inside of Copper Cube, and what you can do, and what I did actually over here, is I created a little hill area. I'm going to refine it a bit, but you could create the entire area with Copper Cube's terrain editor, where you could raise the terrain over here of different areas and then create paths. But we may do that in another video, like a quick one after this one, so I can show you multiple ways on how you can create terrains and environments. Right now we're actually going to create a terrain using a third-party software. So you could create one doing this, and you could texture it, and that would be totally that would save you some time and everything. But for those people who actually want to model it and then texture it and do everything and then import, this is one of those tutorials. So we're going to do that. So in sculptures, we're going to create a unique terrain, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Blender and then continue on with the modifications, and then continue on with the texturing. So we're going to create the flat land in sculptures, create some hills, some more open areas, and then we're going to create some walls. So all of these are little mini valleys to kind of keep it in a more controlled level environment. Alright, so let's go over the coding real quick, and then we're going to go into our actual terrain creating. So let's go over to our character over here, since this is going to be sort of basic. This is a third-person camera setup. So you actually just need to go over to the camera and create a third-person camera. To do that, you're going to need a character, and this character is going to have a game actor with health. So this tells you, okay, this is the player. This player has health. It has activation radius. It has tags, and it has some movement speed. I have actually set the movement speed to 0, and I have put in object or person controlled with a keyboard. And so the movement speed is minus 100. What you actually have to do is that this arrow is supposed to be considered forward, or this blue arrow basically supposed to be with the nose. So they're supposed to be headed out in the same direction. I'm a little lazy, so I just did minus, so negative 0.01, then that's going to have it move forward. But normally you're actually supposed to have 0.01, so not negative, but that's what we have right here. Rotate speed is set to 100, so it's more realistic. Jump speed is 0. There's not really a need for this character to jump, and the run speed again is set to negative 0.02. This has an idle walk, 2 walks and an idle. If we go, you can actually, if we actually click on the character and then have the character selected, go to attributes, go to animation, and then we can edit it. We can actually split up the animations and their keyframes. I would like to have this character actually like textured in the animation viewer, but it's not going to do it. Or even like a wireframe option would be really, really nice. But this is where you actually separate them. I usually import them with all their animations from Fragmotion. So after I go into Mixamo, and then I get all my animations, and then I actually I go over to Fragmotion. I merge all the animations into one character. I go over to Blender and I check where all the keyframes are. So keyframes are basically this. It goes along with the dope sheet. So you're going to have like little dots every once in a while. And so you use this to read it, to get really specific, and then you can set the frames. Because this has a frames counter, as you can see highlighted right here. And then you can see it in the little green one right here. I know it's a lot going around like what a professional setup would. Once FBX tree animations are supported in CopperCube, which is basically you export it. You probably have to go into like Mixamo. Sorry, we're going from Mixamo to Fragmotion straight into CopperCube, because it would see character, so default character on the top, and then all the animations would be offset like a tree going like further. It'd be like a list. So, and then it would know also the keyframes automatically. Hopefully that will be set up soon, but then it would be more in line with the professional setup. This is more in line with old engines from like the 90s to early 2000s. Okay, so back to the coding bit. We have like behaviors, so we have the object controlled by keyboard. Then we have collision. So this collision is this this sphere. So this sphere tells us, hey, this character is going to collide with this object, and it's going to not go through the floor. So if we hit publish, okay, and we have this camera is set up in like in a almost menu mode. I'm going to put the Penelope logo across it. But if you were to click on it, and there's going to be music too, but it's just the camera kind of just loops around. And then we have this character. So you can also control it in mouse and keyboard, but you can also control it with joystick, since this is also going to be for Android. So you collect them, and then we also have like a little GUI set up right now in the basic format to have the character. So the goal here is to basically collect all these spheres, and once we reach a certain amount of these said spheres, then we can actually go to the collector, which is going to actually take these spheres from us. And we can exit out of there, and then we could go through here. Yeah, right here, we go over to this collector, and it takes the spheres from us, and then it powers these doors. And it also gives power to whatever civilization, you know, these people live in. And then we move on, and we collect some more spheres, all that stuff. So basically, it's, you know, collect it, get done with it, done. All right, so we have the characters programming done. Now for the collection, I have them set to invisible right now, but okay, let's just do this GUI real quick. So it's basically, this is a 2D overlay item, and it's basically when clicked on this item, do 4 actions. We're going to make sure that we're going to do a hide or unhide a C node. So we're going to hide this. Then we have two C nodes. One over here on the screen, and the other one is basically that little thumb pad GUI on the lower left-hand corner. So it's hide or unhide a C node. So we're going to make visible a make visible a 2D screen overlay. So this is going to be the one over here that tells us how many little orbs we collected. Then we have make invisible this 2D overlay. We have a change of camera. So we're going to change from the camera that goes all around the area to the actual play character. And then we're going to have a visibility change type, make visible the 2D overlay. So it's going to be the little joypad. And that's going to be that. And then if we go over to 2D overlay. So we're going to make this visible real quick. Make visible. And this is orb. So basically, this is a... so you want to enable draw text. So by default, it's not going to have that. We're going to draw text. And it's going to be money sign orb money sign set to multi-line, and then whatever text you want to actually have. So this basically says, hey, the money signs basically tell that this is important. And then we can actually just add it. So we also want to have a image. So it tells us, hey, that's what it's for. It's like, you know, when you have a game icon or an ammo icon with a number next to it. Very simple, but it does the point. So whenever we have to deal with these orbs, so we go over to behavior. So on proximity to this orb, we're going to have a test area, and you can either have a sphere or a box. I usually default to a sphere. A distance of 10 near to what? A C node. So we're going to be near to a C node. That's animated mesh. This animated mesh is, of course, our player. So when we're near this orb, okay, so when we collide with this orb, there's going to be two actions. Action 1, set or change a variable. Remember, our variable was money sign orb money sign. And so when we create this, we're basically going to do add, set, or change a variable name. Now, we don't need to add the money signs. The money sign just says, hey, this is a variable, and anything with this like name or wording is going to be important. So it's basically looking when the orb is basically put out there. It's constantly looking for that. So variable name orb operation, we're going to add a value of 1 to set orb. So this money sign orb, money sign is going to basically collect all the stuff that it sees when it pings in the system. And we're going to delete a C node, basically the billboard. And this is just a billboard with a sprite attached to it. So create a billboard or a vertical billboard. They're going to have like two little plants, like little bushes up here. So when we collect them, it's going to add to here. Now, what we're going to do, since that's all the coding, except for on the new scene, the new 3D scene 1, we're going to go to, before first drawing, do something, set or change a variable type, orb, money sign. So this is like creating the actual like variable. Okay, so it's on new scene, before first drawing, do something. Set or change a variable, money sign, orb, money sign. This is saying, this is it. Operation, set equal to the value of 0. Every few seconds, do something. Change 2D overlay text. Change which overlay? 2D overlay 1. So this is the one in the upper right. And we're going to say text. We're going to say we want to change this money sign or money sign. So it's basically, we're going to keep it up to date. So every few seconds, so interval, so every basically 1 second, it's going to check the system to say, okay, has the character come in contact with any more orbs? And so we're gonna move that from a number system in the actual game to a number system on the GUI. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to make this invisible again. Visible. Okay. So how do we convert all of that into an actual, like, you've completed this level type system? So we have all these orbs, and once we collect these orbs, we are then going to come in contact with these planes. So like these planes we're going to turn off collision on like these glowing planes. And then once we come in contact with them, it's basically going to be, hey, you don't have enough, or you have enough, you completed the mission. These are now going to be the open areas. Go collect the orbs over there. We're going to add some voice in also. So we're going to do that in the next one. I'll have it all created and set up. And then we're going to actually finish off doing the levels. But it's pretty much going to be a copy-paste of this, except for some enemy types. Alright, so on this we're going to have a behavior, and we're going to have a on proximity to this, and we're actually going to keep it kind of a small sphere. Distance is going to be 14. Enter radius, the current active camera. Well, not the current active camera. We want the current active C node, or AC node that we are using. So we're going to have a animated mesh, our character. You always want to name it player so you can actually see it. So animated mesh right here. Say OK. And so when does this trigger? When does it say, oh, I have to do something? When do I have to do something? Well, when the character has entered the yellow sphere area. So on action, we're going to say, okay, well, we actually want to test to see if the orb variable is high enough to where we can say, okay, done. So if a variable has value, do something. Variable name is going to be orb. This may not work due to the fact that I'm not putting the money sign, so we may have to go back and put the money sign on it. If equal to value of, let's say, what makes this easy? 10 orbs action. We have to do something so that we know that the level is done. Well, okay, we could just do this real quick. We could actually just delete our character. Or, how about this? We'll make the box visible object underscore G. Okay. So on proximity to something, if a variable set enters radius, okay, action set, we're going to make this variable object visible. This is basically to check the triggering and to show you guys, oh, see what happens. And then we're going to start working on the next level. Make visible, title, object G underscore of 1. Okay. Else, let's see. What's this do? Special variable fade whole screen. Then no, Oh, okay, no, I got this. We're gonna switch camera back to the menu camera. Okay, so if variable is true, we're gonna go back to the menu camera. Else, we're just going to make invisible a certain object. Okay, publish. Okay, let's make sure we actually have enough of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that should be plenty. We're gonna hit play on this. So if we collect all of them, so we're gonna say, yeah, I want to play the game. Okay, it's one of them. That's two of them. Oops. Three of them. Oh, I think it was around the other way. Let's just collect this one while we're at it. That's four of them. Okay, let's go over to this collector and say, hey, we want to actually just access the rest of the levels. We don't care about this level. Oops, we got to deal with collision. Alright, so what we can do is just add a plane. Fix that issue. And then visible, no. Rotate. Move. Okay, that should work. Okay, we'll just get back to this. Collect a couple of these spheres. Boom, but our box has disappeared. But if we collect all of them now, and let me edit this out. I was trying to doing the jump, but it doesn't have a jump animation, so I didn't think it needed one over this game because there's like nothing you're gonna like jump from. We got 8. That's 9. Okay, so we have 11. Head back over here, and then we'll just boom. So there we go. So now we've completed the level, and we can even do like, score time and everything like that. So now what we would do is we would replace, hey, you didn't, say instead of turning the box invisible, you could be like, have a voice or whatever and say, hey, you still have spheres. You could even have like the camera go to like for a couple of milliseconds, have the camera like pan around and say, hey, you still have stuff to pick up. And I'm actually going to see if I can get a voice to, be for like an old character being like, hey, you still have stuff to, blah, blah, blah. And then once you actually do score 10, like what we changed the camera, we're going to actually have the camera like literally ping to different, like these 3 different doors, and they're going to have like this green overlay. So I'm going to actually add a red glow overlay to say that they're locked. And then we're going to have a green overlay appear when they are unlocked. And then you can go over there and collect stuff. And then there's going to be, I want to use this box or something. Don't know what though. Maybe a special ability. But we're going to have like a glowing little effect to it. So right now I'm going to end this, and then we're going to work on the additional levels. So we're going to do some level creation. We're going to import those into this engine. Create a little environment with orbs, and then we're gonna have I'm thinking about like enemies, and then we're gonna have probably some creatures that you can attack because they're like territorial, whatever. And then we're gonna actually do also on that tutorial, so that may be a bit long, is to actually input more of the storyline and the actual like voices using a recording software. So we're going to be using like Audacity, and then like and or Mixcraft, and I'm going to be using some others in case you don't want to like pay, and doing like a little mini game how quickly you can do that. So again, this is the coding for that. We're going to need to work on the coding to also, even though I didn't show you basically the coding for the going to the next level. And then basically just the what's going to be really interesting is the AI for the enemy characters. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.